Coming up on this week's Buyer's Guide, we help an aging driver find an automatic with Corolla levels of reliability.
We debate whether a used Ford Kuga diesel is still a smart SUV buy.
And later we discuss the ins and outs of vehicle recalls and how it affects you, the motorist.
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Guide. Each week we tackle your motoring questions from buying and selling to maintenance and ownership. And joining us in studio is Mike Bradshaw from Top Gear Auto and our very own Francois Oosthuizen from Ignition. Thank you for joining us, guys.
Good to see you here.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Okay, we're going to start off with Aurora Sang. His mother drives a manual 2014 Toyota Corolla Prestige, but has arthritis and has made clutch control challenging for her. Now, she's got a budget of 200,000 Rand, and she's after a reliable automatic that's easy to drive. She'd prefer to keep her existing Corolla for sentimental reasons. What is the best low-maintenance automatic that can match Toyota's dependability? Mike, just buy another Corolla.
If you can find a Honda Jazz, that would be great.
Yep.
But stay with the Toyota.
Yeah.
I agree.
The sort of 200,000 Rand budget, you could most probably find a Corolla automatic. It may have higher mileage. I do like what you threw in there, a Honda. You can look at something like a Honda Jazz, they do have the good reliability of the same as the Corolla, but it's not as big. It's a bit smaller. Or something
As
like...
it is, she's suffering with arthritis, Adam.
Yeah.
She doesn't want something big to maneuver around.
Also, what about, if you can't find a Corolla in that budget that's got reasonable mileage, Honda Civic.
Yeah, I was actually also thinking in terms of Hondas, even possibly something like a Honda CR-V, which is higher, so easier to get in and out of, really comfortable seats, and quite softly sprung, which is unusual in the market these days.
It's comfortable.
Yeah, so it's a really, because that's the thing, arthritis, it starts out maybe in your hands or whatever, but it then, eventually it develops and it manifests elsewhere in the body.
Yeah.
And you might want something that's easier on your back or easier on your legs.
And your joints and things, yes.
Yeah. So, the simple answer is what's as reliable as another Corolla.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for something different, I would definitely also look at the Honda
something in the
stable.
Honda brand, because the Hondas are as reliable, if not more reliable, than the Toyota products. They're very, very good.
And they're not stolen.
Yes.
There's
There's a very valid point.
There's another valid point. So you don't want Gogo to be hijacked in her Corolla.
The other thing
an
I
option.
really, really like, and I love this car when I drove it, was a Mazda 2 automatic. Would for 200K, would they get a Mazda 2?
Another option to look at. Something on the Mazda products as
Now
well.
there's a nice car.
Alrighty.
Okay, next up is Gerard, who's eyeing a 2016 Ford Kuga 2-liter TDCi Auto Titanium all-wheel drive. Wow, it's a mouthful. It's a one-owner Gauteng car with a full dealer history and 100,000 kilometers on the clock. The asking price is 160,000 Rand, roughly what the dealer offered as a trade-in. Given its age and mileage, is that a fair deal? And what known issues should he be aware of before signing the papers?
So, interestingly, when I saw the price, I thought, that sounds low. It sounds almost too good to be true. And then I had a look online, and that is it is at the lower end of the spectrum for those. But if he's saying the dealer's, basically giving him a good deal, saying like, I want to sell it to you at trade-in, the dealer obviously paid a little bit less for it than that. But the price seems reasonable, and I know you guys often say if you want to get a Kuga, the diesel is the one to go for.
Yes, it's certainly the one to buy.
Yeah, so
excellent car.
I don't think that. I think this is a really good deal. So if he likes the Kuga, it's the model to go for. The mileage is good. It's a good price, but there are also some really nice alternatives to consider. I would look at a Kia Sportage. CRDI, the diesel all-wheel drive, which is comparable in terms of size, performance, and also price, and Mazda CX-5, although it's going to be a little bit...
Find one in that price range. Mike, your feeling on the Kuga diesel? We're not talking about the petrol rubbish.
Yeah. The Kuga diesel is the one to buy.
Yeah.
In terms of an alternative in this price bracket, with this mileage being a one-owner, 100,000 Ks with a full traceable service history.
Yes,
nothing.
That's nothing.
Nada.
And at 160,000 Rand.
You want the car?
Yes, I want it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because anything in that range with that mileage is north of 200. thousand.
Yes.
You'll find a Kuga or something similar with 160, 180,000 Ks for around the 189 mark, but it's 60 to 100,000 Ks more.
Cool. All right, so there we go.
Welcome back to Buyer's Guide. Our next email is from Rafik in East London, who bought the JAC T9 in August of 2024. When he took delivery, the service intervals were set at 10,000 kilometers, then extended to 20,000 kilometers, and subsequently reduced again to 15,000 kilometers. He travels 300 kilometers a day through tough Eastern Cape terrain and worries that the longer intervals may harm the engine. He's been told he can stick to the 10,000 kilometer services, but at his own cost. Is this policy fair, and what's the best approach for high mileage driving in these demanding conditions?
Well, I think the simple answer is like, no, it's not fair. If he bought the vehicle new, there must be some kind of contract,
In place,
right,
yep.
between the dealership and him. And if a service plan was part of the purchase, then that must be, the stipulations must be included in that contract.
The service intervals are 10,000 kilometers, which I think is the right way to go.
Yeah.
Then they say, okay, we can, as the dealer, change it to 20,000. It's fine. It doesn't affect your warranty. Everything's okay. But then say again, no, back to 15,000. So it's a difficult one in terms of legalities of things. But back to the question is, when should you do these oil changes? I honestly believe the amount of driving that you're doing, do it every 10,000 kilometers. If you're going to keep that car a long time, I promise you it'll last a hell of a long time, and you won't have many issues if you do the every 10,000 kilometers.
Yeah, but they wanted him to do it at his cost.
Yes, I understand that. What you should be going, I think, is have a look in that initial contract that you have, and if it says there every 10,000 kilometers, then that's what
hold
you
them
bought
to
it
that,
for.
yeah.
That's what you do it. Put your foot down and say, okay, you gave me a 60,000 or 50,000, whatever the service, the free service
Maintenance contract is, yeah.
contract was. You must comply with that,
Yeah.
and get them to do that.
Mike?
What worries me is that you go from 10 to 20 to 15. That means you do not, in my mind, bear with me, 20,000 Ks. Ooh,
Hey,
it's a
guys,
little
you're
bit
gonna have
long.
a problem
We're going to have a
here,
problem
yeah.
with our engine's longevity.
Yes.
Maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree. But I do know that with the initial JACs, those double cabs, the one that almost looks like a hybrid of an H100 or K2700, if you didn't take that car in at 5,000 Ks to change the oil, your warranty on that engine was void.
Yeah.
Because they had a problem with the oil. So because I've had an experience of this, and it's JAC round number 2 listening to these questions, it worries me that maybe if you're going from 20 to 15, maybe they had a batch of these JACs that
had a problem.
inferior, perhaps, oil. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just
So
saying.
what I would say is the best way to service, and I've mentioned this if you watch the show regularly,
10,000.
what you drive, every 10,000 kilometers. If you want your car to last, have it serviced once a year or 10,000 Ks, and that will certainly help you in the long run.
Up next is a question from Nathan, who's contacted us on behalf of his dad, Nigel, who's 47 and finally ready to indulge in a fun weekend toy. He's budgeting 1 million rand for something sporty and distinctive, maybe a Maserati or Jaguar, but he's not interested, let's get this right guys, in any German cars. A retractable roof would be a bonus, but he's not too concerned about that. He's after the best balance between excitement, style, and reliability for a car that will only come out once or twice a month. What are the standout options in that space? Mr.
Well,
Surat?
Surat, from a Surat perspective, the Maserati is a big no-no. I wouldn't touch that. I won't even take a Maserati
On the floor.
No, I won't sell them. But with the Consumer Protection Act, I'm
You're buying trouble.
Yeah, I'm vulnerable. I'd rather not do it. Jaguar XKR, the 5 liter, what a car. Yeah. It's just got that timing chain, but when you start it and it's cold and it's making a little grrr noise, that can be fixed relatively cheaply. And then other than that car is bulletproof.
What about, he mentioned Jaguar, the F-Type.
F-Type also a beautiful option.
So you
there
get
he's got his drop top.
Yeah, you get an F-Type in your drop top. It's a 2-seater. You get it in 3 liter supercharged, or you get it in a 5-litre supercharged. I'd say the best one is the 3-litre, because the 5-litre is just like nuts. The car weighs like 3 pounds, half a kilo, and you've got all this power going through. The only thing, if you're going to go the route of the Jaguars, one of the common problems with them is they tend to leak water, because they've got plastic fittings and stuff like that. So check and see if those plastic fittings that are common to leak either been upgraded to an aluminium fitting, which are available aftermarket, or if they have been replaced, because you can damage the whole engine for just a little 200 rand plastic fitting which leaks water.
Adam giving all this bad advice, I might as well jump in and join him. I was looking, and you want something completely different, right? Weekend toy, twice a month or whatever. Alpha Giulia Quadrifoglio. You can get a nice one.
Yeah.
And that, for me, if you want something different,
I like that.
there's something
I
different.
really like that.
Yeah.
I was stunned by what this car looks like and how it runs.
And you can buy them for nothing. Because
Yeah, you can get this
can.
good second-hand one, less than $1 million. But what a lovely car.
I'm going to be a little bit left field here. The Lexus LC Coupe.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Amazing.
With a drop top.
Cheap as it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it'll have all the reliability
you'll ever want.
Yes, and the kids will get it in their will because it will still be
Still be
around, and
around.
still working.
there's a great option. Okay.
That's a fantastic option.
You're watching Buyer's Guide. Hello and welcome back. If you keep an eye on the automotive news, you would have noticed a number of vehicle manufacturers issued recalls during the course of 2025. Alarmingly, many of these recalls go largely unnoticed, with a small portion of owners returning their cars to have the necessary, often safety-critical fixtures carried out. Joining us now is Rian Esterhuizen from Toyota South Africa Motors to help us shed some light on this seldom mentioned topic. Here we go, Rian. Recalls, not only Toyota, but many manufacturers have recalls. Is it something people should be concerned about?
No, Adam, I think there are two very important aspects to recalls, and often buyers only, or the public out there, only see the negative side. Of course, the word recall means, in essence, taking something back.
Yes.
But the upside of a recall is, and we actually prefer to call it a special service campaign or a public safety campaign, it's really there to protect the buyer and look after the interest of the vehicle owner, operator, buyer. It's important to make a distinction between what is a negative recall in perhaps a component that isn't operating or performing to the level that you would expect it to be, and safety recalls. And often these recalls are done preventatively rather than being a knee-jerk reaction. They are done preventatively to prevent accidents or vehicle performance loss in future.
I looked through some of the recalls that over this last year, and some of them are minor stuff like glitches in software for a screen. Some of them are more serious, like safety belts that aren't properly secured and things like that. So if somebody has a recall, doesn't matter what manufacturer, let's look on Toyota as an example, and I bring my Toyota back to you, is there any cost towards for me to do this?
So it's a great question and an important one to emphasize. Recalls are done, at least from a Toyota South Africa perspective, completely no charge to the customer. So it is initiated by the manufacturer to correct a part or programming or component on the vehicle at zero cost to the end customer. And therefore we encourage customers to have their vehicle checked, check if it's a recall is applicable to your vehicle or vehicle model, and have that recall component done.
You know, when it comes to recalls, I've sold my car on, but the recall's only being done after I've sold it on. Can the person who's purchased it bring it back to you, seeing that he's now the second owner? Or is it just, it's applicable to the car, not to the person who purchased it?
It is applicable to the vehicle, so whoever the owner or operator might be, the recall follows the vehicle and not the owner. And that's one of the challenge of recalls, is actually tracking down, especially on older vehicles, because the vehicles age out of the system. They age out of the dealer network. They go into private servicing, they go into rural communities, and they kind of fall outside of the scope of often the major metro hubs and dealers. So definitely, if the recall applies to your vehicle, no matter if you are the first or 10th owner, you are entitled to have that recall operation performed on your vehicle at no cost.
You know, Segi mentioned like if you've sold it on. I know some of these recalls, I'll use BMW as example now, that recent recall, they go back to 2016, 2015, 2016 on a specific recall. If you don't follow the sort of motor industry news and things like you don't know, and you want to know if your car has a recall, how does one go about finding out is a recall? Is there a place, is there a website I can go to, or do you approach the manufacturer of that particular brand?
So the easiest is to contact the customer call center. They would have direct access to the database to be able to verify for the customer calling in whether their vehicle is affected and be able to guide them on the process, advise what their nearest dealer would be, etc.
From my perspective, you must remember I come from a sewer rat. I'm running around with all the brands. And one of the biggest problems with recalls is that the end user, whether it's the first or the third or fourth, there's the idea that there's a cost to it. So I think educating customers, like we are today, that there is no cost. Toyota, Isuzu, whatever it is, that's paramount. The other side to it is, if you go onto Toyota's website, there's a little thing right at the bottom there. It's called Technical Campaigns. And you click on that, you enter your VIN number, it'll tell you if there's a recall, and to your point, you can then phone and find out where your nearest dealer. Isuzu, Suzuki, they all have it.
Where does one find this number? Is it my number plate, or is
Go to your license disc if you don't know where to look for
that's
it.
the thing on the windscreen?
It will give engine number, it'll give chassis number.
So it'll say there VIN.
N or chassis, yeah.
So take a picture of that little license disc on your car. It doesn't matter what make of car it is, VIN number. And then go into the manufacturer's website and see if you can find that. If you're not somebody that's like heavy into technology and you don't know how to use that kind of thing, phone up the dealer.
You know what I got to ask is time constraint on a recall. I understand if it's safety critical, there's no time constraint. Whenever the car needs to get done, will get done.
So Sagi, I can't speak for all manufacturers, but if I just touch on a very big recall campaign that we're currently launching and expanding and putting a lot of marketing effort behind to inform the public of this recall is the Takata airbag recall. And that goes back as far as 2002. So we are very much, from a Toyota perspective, saying if we've identified there is a component that needs to be replaced out of future protection, the time frame is not important. From a Toyota perspective, if that vehicle is part of the recall campaign, we are looking for vehicle number 1 up until vehicle number X.
So Rian, you were mentioning Takata airbags. We know Takata is not Toyota. It's a manufacturer that manufactures airbags for every single manufacturer around the world, and it's now gone bang because of all the problems with all the airbags. Now, we see this with every manufacturer, and I'm sure everybody knows about the amount of airbag recalls that have come back from the Takata group. You've got something that you do at Toyota
Sure.
regarding that?
Thanks, Adam. So we are launching a campaign to identify and request people to have their vehicles checked of the vehicles affected in the range between 2002 and 2017. Unfortunately, as you mentioned, with Takata being a global service provider, the numbers are rather big.
So millions.
Millions. So from a Toyota South Africa point of view, there are some campaign elements going out, social media posts. We're introducing a QR code that you can scan that takes you directly to a web link where you enter your VIN, as we touched on earlier. We're introducing a license disc scanning tool that will be linked to the mobile browser that you can just scan the license disc without needing to type in the VIN number, adding convenience. And really we are, from our point of view, we're currently sitting at around 61% of units identified completed, and we want to ramp this up to 90% completion within the next 3 years.
And with this airbag recall being such a safety critical item.
Exactly.
So, you know, everybody out there who, well, even if it's not referring to your car, no harm in checking, isn't it?
And it's not just about the vehicle owner. You know, it's your friends, it's your family, it's your colleague. If you have a vehicle produced within this time period.
It's companies.
It's companies, it's fleets.
And I must say, I'm a recipient of that, because we actually got a call from Toyota, from one of the dealers saying, they called us. I wasn't even aware of it, that the vehicle falls under the recall for the squib, the spiral, and the airbag at the back of the steering wheel. Please drop the car off and sort it out. And it literally, it was a half an hour, I think an hour or so, and we got a call back, the vehicle's ready. So it's not it's quite painless to get it done. Absolutely no cost to us, and the vehicle's back and safe on the road. So there you go, guys. That's as much as we can help you at the moment about recalls. Obviously, every manufacturer has recalls. If you're concerned, the simple thing is to phone a dealership, go on their website, and remember, any recall that will be done is absolutely no cost to you, irrespective if you've had the car for 1 year, 10 years. If it falls within that, it will be done for you free of charge. So hopefully that helps you with that.
Okay, that wraps up this week's episode. If you'd like to feature on Buyer's Guide, email buyersguide@ignitiontv.co.za and include as many details as possible and a nice picture of yourself.
Rian, Mike, thank you very much. Really
Pleasure.
appreciate you coming in and giving us all that great advice. We'll be back next week with more motoring insights. Until then, drive safe and keep it safe on the roads, guys.